Hi, my name is Kent Lee and I teach computer science at Luther College. This is lesson 9 in a series of lessons on learning to program in Python by example. And we're building a Frogger application, and we've got race cars and we've got frogs, but now we need some logs in our application. So we're going to start today by going to Spotlight Search, and we're going to open up a terminal window. On Windows again, you can open up the Git Bash shell and you'll have a window similar to this. So we want a CD to be in the home directory, and CD into documents again, CD into programming, and then CD into Frogger. And then we're going to check out the correct lesson. In this case, we're going to type git and then checkout and then -f, and it's lesson 8 that we're going to be working with this time. And we can start up Wing, and likely if you're starting it up, it'll probably just come right up with Frogger in it, and from the other lessons that we've done. And we're going to build a log class this time so that we can have logs in our application. The log class is very similar to the race car class, so I want you to pause the video here in a moment and then write the log class. One difference is that we won't have to rotate at all this time, so we don't need a rotation by any amount for the log class. And the going forward, we'll want to go to the other side of the screen if we go off the other side. So if it's greater than 400, then we're going to want to go to -400. So go ahead and pause the video at this point and write a log class for yourself following this race car class as an example. Okay, so if you're back, you have written a log class. I'm just going to take this code there and copy it and then paste it in, and now we've got two class race cars, and I'll change one of them to log. It doesn't really matter which one, and as you might guess, the picture changes to log.gif. We don't need the rotate, as I said, and if it's greater than 400, then we're going to want to go to -400 on there. And we've got a class log that should do pretty much everything we want it to do. Now I got to create some log objects. I created race cars here after I created the frog because I wanted the race cars on top of the frog if they should run over the frog. Logs are the opposite. I want them underneath the frog, so I'm going to create them before the frog. So we're going to have a logs list, okay, and then we're going to create a log, and that's going to be equal to a log, and the locations where I want the logs to be created, well, -500 for the first one anyway, and 50 would be its location, and then we better append that to the list of logs. So logs.append log there. I need several more logs created. I'm going to again tell you their coordinates and let you go ahead and do that. We need one at -400, 150, and we'll need another at -700, 50, and we'll need one more at -600, 150. So pause the video at this point, create the extra logs, and then start it up again. Okay, so the two lines to be repeated over and over again are these two. Again, we would not want to do this line over and over because that creates the list, and we don't want the list to be empty each time. So this is going to be -400, 150, and we'll append that log, and then we're going to do this again, copy those 2 lines there, paste it in here. Minus 750, and we'll do logs.append, and then one more time here we're going to do minus 600 150 logs.append. Okay, so we've got all the logs created and they're in the list, but we haven't animated them yet, so we're going to have to go into our animate and make sure they're animated as well as the cars. So we'll go and we'll do the, after the cars have been animated, we'll do the same thing for the logs. So for log in logs, and then we're just going to do log dot forward, and we'll have to specify some amount to move the log forward, and 2 seems like a reasonable amount, I guess, at this point. We only need to do one screen.update because there's only one of those per frame, and then we should be good. So let's take a look at it and see what we end up with. And it looks like I forgot one of the arguments to this, and that's the canvas that needs to be passed in. So here was an instance of where I should have ran it with one of them probably first before I went and copied this code all over. So learned my lesson there. So we'll fix that up. Okay, stop it, run it again. Whoops. No shape named log images log.gif. So that tells me that I forgot to register that shape, and we need to go back here and do this now for the logs too. So, and images, and it's log.gif for the log. Okay, so hopefully you followed that along. We'll go and back and look this over so we can see what's going on. There are the cars, they go off the screen. Looks like the logs are wrapping around now. We've got cars wrapping around. Everything looks good. Okay, so here are the things that we had to do. We had to do a screen.register shape, so make sure you've got that line. Okay, we needed to write a log class, so you can pause it and look at your log class and my log class to see if you've got everything the same. And then we had to create some log objects. We created a logs list to begin with, and then we created a bunch of individual logs and appended each of them to the logs list. Okay, and one final thing that we had to do in animate, we had to say for log in logs and tell the logs to move forward for each of our frames. Okay, so I do want you to see now, as I run this, I go under the cars. If I get there at the same time, and over the logs, which is exactly what I want to have happen here, under the cars and over the logs. But we need to be concerned about getting hit by a car or jumping onto a log. So we've got some work ahead of us still in this application, and that will be part of the next lesson here. So that's it for this time.